there's a concrete wall, you can't just keep hitting your head against the wall, and you have to find ways of going under it, around it, over it. You've got to maintain flexibility. I deal with people, and I deal with people from other continents, and we have the greatest businessmen in the world in the United States, in my opinion. And even though I'm speaking to Australia, these are minor details. But we have the greatest businessmen in the, look what they did to you people and everybody else with their housing bundling loans. I mean, those guys made a fortune. 5,000 mortgages in Phoenix, Arizona. Nobody knows the address of any house. And by the way, would the world like to buy these mortgages? Yes, France. We'll buy about 5 trillion of them. Oh, absolutely, wonderful. These guys made a fortune. Okay, it was a bad thing, and it was a bad thing that happened. But we don't use our brilliant guys in the United States to negotiate against China and various other people. We use people that are diplomats. You know what a diplomat is? A diplomat is somebody who goes to school to be nice. They want to be nice. So if we would use, I know all the killers in New York, if I would pick out a team like we do a golf team, I'll pick the Ryder Cup of business people. What we would do to the rest of the world would be unbelievable. But we have politicians that don't do that because they want to be nice. I heard a guy named Gary Locke today. Gary Locke. Anyone ever heard of Gary Locke? He's the new ambassador to China. And he said, and it's so naive, and it's so pathetic, it's funny, even though it's happening to my own country. He said, I think China should behave. They should be nicer to us. Because if they did, we'd make product and we could sell it in China. And I'm watching this, and I'm saying, God can't be doing this to us. He then finished off by saying, wouldn't it be nice for them to also know they're putting Americans to work? This is what he said about China. Now, I have a lot of respect for China. I just sold an apartment to a Chinese man for $33 million. I own a big chunk of the Bank of America building. I own a big chunk of a building in Manhattan, all because of China. I have nothing in it, nothing. They had a fortune. They had to put up all the money. I own a big percentage of the building, and Bank of America building is one of the cooler buildings. I mean, I deal with China. I respect China. I'm not angry at China because they're ripping off the United States. I just wish we had somebody that could rip them off for a while, okay? That's one of the reasons I love Australia, because you're selling them all sorts of shit. And that crap is coming out of the ground, and you don't know what it is, and they don't know what it is, but they're paying you a lot of money. And I say, raise your prices. Raise your prices. Tell you guys, raise your prices. See, in our country, we're not allowed to dig, because if you dig, you may hurt the grass. There's a certain type of, we can't dig. I mean, we can't use anything. If an excavator is a certain size, they won't allow it because it may roll over a certain type of grass, even though it might kill 10,000 jobs. You know, the whole thing is ridiculous. So I like what Australia's doing. I don't like that you buy back a product that's been recycled and pay a lot of money, but that'll be next. But what you do is really screw them on the sale of the raw materials. Trust me, you'll be richer than China because they need you badly. You have all the cards. You know, the funny thing is, the United States has all the cards with China. They said to me, well, Mr. Trump, China has $1 trillion worth of our debt. I say, so what? I have banks that had, you know, like hundreds of millions of my debt. Didn't mean a thing to me. I didn't lose an hour's sleep. It was their problem, not my problem. But they said, but they have all this debt. I said, first of all, $1 trillion is so little in the overall scope of things. And if you wanted to tax Chinese products coming in, because as you know, they manipulate their currency, and you know, it's a bad thing. They do a lot of bad crap, and they get away with it. And then you have our diplomats say, wouldn't it be nice if they could help us with jobs? Oh my God. Oh. It's so naive, I just get sick. Do you mind if I throw up right here? Would anybody get disgusted if I threw up all over the frickin' lectern? You gotta get this guy sick. It's just so classic. You got to get it, because I think China would be very happy if we would create a lot of jobs so that we could sell things to China. And you know, even Japan, look, we love Japan. They went through a tsunami. They've got some problems. You know, they have a couple of little nuclear problems where their machines are exploding all over the place. And now we're all feeling so sorry for Japan. But they've been screwing us for 25 years. And as I said, when was the last time you saw somebody buy a Chevrolet in Japan? It doesn't happen. I mean, I'd like to know how many Chevrolets were sold in Japan. They sell them here. But, you know, but they're our ally. You know, China this year is going to make $300 billion on us. $300 billion. And that's a low number. That was recently, and they just announced that the number is actually going to be much higher than that. But, you know, you take other countries like Colombia. Colombia's made $4 billion last year. $4 billion on us. That's a small country. And I actually spoke with a group representing Obama. I say, let me ask you a question. Do we make any good deals? Is there one country, one, I just want to see one, where we made a good deal? I mean, we gave the Panama Canal away for $1. Jimmy Carter, he was another beauty. We're giving it away for $1. $1. You know what they did? They doubled the price. The Panama Canal is making so much money that they're now building a new and bigger Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it away for $1. You think he was a great negotiator? This is what we have. We have very stupid people running the United States.